Hey everybody, it's 1 in the afternoon and I have gotten started on absolutely nothing. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the upcoming projects I'm working on because there's a lot of them and I'm doing a good chunk of it today, hopefully. Ideally. We'll see how much I get done. First off, ducks and how to make them pay. I am doing a project for the Artists Guild and I came up with this cool idea that you'll get to see me put to canvas in a little bit. But for starters, we're going to take like 12 of these things, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 of these things and cover them in paint and we're going to stick them to a canvas. It's going to be really fun. I'd argue that's probably the easiest of the projects that I got going today. We're going to cover them in titanium white. Except for this one. This is our protagonist duck, and you'll see what I mean by that in a little bit. She's not going to keep her cowboy hat, though. It's going to be, well, she's going to keep her cowboy hat, but we're going to change the color to make it a little more Indiana Jonesy. So, that's one project. Second project I have to work on is the Darth Vader mask. I'm doing another Darth Vader mold, and I bought a massive, massive box of equipment for that. So, I'm hoping to at least get the mold done today, and I'll film the process. Or at the very least do like a sped up version of the process. And if we could get those two things done today, I think we'll be in great shape for tomorrow. But it's gonna be a long day, so I'm gonna get to work. So the working theory for this canvas is as follows. We're gonna get our ducks, we're gonna line them up. These ones are gonna go facing that way, but our protagonist duck is gonna be going the other way because she swims against the current. And she's got her cowboy hat because, you know, she's the adventurer of the bunch. I'm also going to take some resin and drip it down the side so that way you can see which direction the current is flowing in. And I think that's kind of a fun, minimalist, 3D-esque thing that I can do in a relatively short amount of time. And like that there. Also important, we got to cover this base layer first, because I want to make sure the ducks that are going to be painted white are blending into the canvas, because they are followers and not leaders. We want to make sure that they don't stand out in any particular way, because our hero duck is the one that's going to stand out. I had this idea for quite a while, and now that I've been doing more of the 3D sculpty stuff, I was like, this is like not a huge tax on my time, but I can still work on it and sculpt it. And we can have some fun. I have 2 art shows coming up. I've got one in January I'm hoping to enter. That's the same week as MagFest. And then I have another one in February that I'm making the Darth Vader thing for, that I would also like to get done in a reasonable amount of time, but that one might be a bit more complicated because I got to do more sculpting work with that. Don't let anyone ever tell you it's just gluing ducks to canvas, because, my God, I'm going to put so many coats of paint on these things. It's painting. It is painting. It's a sculpture, but it's painting. So we are about halfway through painting our ducks now. I know from here they probably look like they're covered pretty well, but they definitely have a few more coats to go. It's been about half an hour, and as my brother would say, they are too cool for school. Looking good so far. I'm excited. I'm gonna let them dry for a bit and we're gonna go work on Darth Vader. And yeah, that's what we're up to now. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. I am in fact doing another Darth Vader because one wasn't enough. And this guy is gonna be going to the February art show. My plan for him is similar to the full-sized action figure one. Well, this is actually like a full replica scale helmet. I could put this on. It comes from the Halloween costume shop, I think. And basically we're going to cover him in junk. Junk's gonna dry. We're gonna pull the junk off. And I don't have a box with me right now, but we're gonna stuff it full of foam. And then we're gonna paint it. And it's gonna look just like this. Why are we doing that and not just cutting the helmet in half? Because one helmet can become many helmets if we do the mold correctly. gonna have to do this a few times. We're gonna be using quite a few bottles of the good stuff. And we're gonna use all of it because, let's be honest, this thing's pretty massive. So when you do a mold of anything, basically what you're doing is creating a negative. You probably heard that term used in other scientific-y things. Basically you flatten it against here and it'll take the shape of the three-dimensional object, and then you take said object and fill it in with the material of your choice, so that way you can use it as a sculpture. And then I can paint all over it, and I can doodle all over it, and I can do whatever the hell I want. I'm trying to decide what part I should lay down first. I feel like this part's probably the most important part. So I want to press it on in there because the goal is to get an impression. You want to make a good impression. Do you think like Hobby Lobby ever sees me place an order and they're like, oh God, the girl who's ordering 12 pounds of Alumilite is back? I feel like they probably do that because, let's face it, who's really ordering a massive box of this stuff aside from me? I don't really know anybody else who works in this medium. That's for sure. Same process, just gotta keep at it. People are asking how I got into 3D, and the answer is that I just really like doing fun, satirical art paintings. You know, all of my previous pop culture related works were regular dimensional, and they were all just kind of silly takes on things. So that was what inspired me to do the first Darth Vader, which was the one where he gets trapped in carbonite, because that would end Star Wars Episode 5 pretty fast if that happened. And that painting's called One Wrong Step, and that was my foray into 3D art. And people really seemed to like it a lot. I got a couple requests afterwards for stuff, and that's why I'm building this Darth Vader, because I can actually use it for multiple purposes. Same with the full body mold. I can, you know, recreate the painting anytime I want because I've got this mold now, a negative, as I said before. I'd call it a finished product, but this is actually the mid stage because now we got to sit here and wait for it to dry. And once it dries, I'm going to rip it off and we can take a look under the hood, check out what's on the inside. Exciting news for my husband though. This box is going in the trash. So we're back to our ducks. I am going to paint these for another hour or so probably, and then take a nice size break because I've already been at this for 2.5 hours now, between this and the other project. And I realized that you can paint the bottoms in one shift and then paint the tops in one shift, so that way you're not getting your grubby little fingerprints all over them, because I think that'll make them look more even. And I mean, we need to make sure every speck of color is gone from the white ducks, because they're not supposed to be interesting or unique. You don't want to see them. And that's what we're up to now. So after that, probably in a couple hours, we will unpeel our Darth Vader and see how that looks. And we keep going. And this, as you can see, is our mask mold now fully unmolded. There's a bit of chipping in some areas, but we can fix that. That's not really a huge deal. And like I said, probably tomorrow or the next day, I'll put a bunch of the clay foam in here and we'll see how it turns out. So stay tuned.